And I want everybody listening to close their eyes and think about this. Imagine that time where you're just sucking wind and you're tired, whether you're a runner, baseball player, football player, basketball player, or you're an entrepreneur, whatever the hell it is, I don't know. And you're sitting there and you're like, when is it my time? When am I going to win? I don't have it in me. I'm done. That person's just gonna win. And then you tell yourself this decision that you make in your mindset. Like she said, Angelina said it was a shift in her mindset. She was, no, she's not. I'm done with this shit. I'm going. They can keep up with me if they want, but I'm gonna smoke this chick. She had half a lap left. So all of you sitting there thinking that you're losing, you may have a half a lap ahead of you, and there's someone sitting right in front of you that you're chasing. It doesn't mean you're done. It doesn't mean you're done. It means right now, ladies and gentlemen, you have a choice to make. You could either say, you know what, I'm going to submit to these weak ass thoughts and I'm going to get beat, or I'm going to push through them. I'm going to get uncomfortable and I'm going to go, because 200 meters away, that's your springboard to an amazing, triumphant spring season, right? Like
100%. And I mean, it's like I said, it's truly like the whether it is a big win or it's a little win, you have to have little wins, or you have to have wins to keep yourself going. It's 100% you do. So it's all about the mindset and how you're looking at the process. You have to enjoy the process, but you have to also enjoy the game.
Southwest Florida is one of the most beautiful places on the planet to live. For those of you that are thinking of moving from other states to come to Florida, or even just moving to a different part of the state, I want you to think of a big, beautiful luxury home. Contact Legacy Luxury Builders. They are a family-owned and operated luxury residential construction company. As a family-owned business, they believe in the power of building not just homes, but legacies. Contact Legacy Luxury Builders. Unlock your true potential on the field and court with our peak mental performance program for athletes. Train your mind to conquer challenges, stay focused under pressure, and achieve unparalleled success. Our expert coaches will guide you through personalized techniques, enhancing concentration, resilience, and confidence. Picture yourself outperforming your rivals, making split-second decisions with clarity, and achieving victory like never before. Join us today and elevate your game to new heights. Peak Mental Performance Program, where champions are forged in the mind. Email me today, sean.french@thedeterminedsociety.com for more information. See you inside. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Determined Society. I am your host and the mental performance coach for athletes, Sean French. And I have with me today, guys, an amazing athlete. She was the 2022 to 23 Gatorade National Girls Track and Field Player of the Year, now cross country runner at NC State. This girl is an absolute badass. She holds records for the steeplechase, and we're really going to get down and into the physical performance, but also the mental and peak performance behind that drives that physical performance. So I'd like to welcome our friend, our badass, Angelina Napoleon, to the show. What's up, my friend?
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Dude, I'm jacked to have you, man. I've heard so many amazing things about you from our friends, Misty and Brad, and up there and good old wherever the hell they are.
Yeah,
But
Western
and I
New
don't really
York.
know, like I don't. It's funny, like I thought they lived in Pittsburgh, and then they tell me no, we're like here. I'm like, dude, you guys are a bunch of liars. I don't know where you're at. You could
Yeah.
live next door to me for all I know.
Yeah, we're in
So
the middle of nowhere, so I
in the
understand
middle of
that.
nowhere. Awesome.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell everybody that's listening right now a little bit about where the middle of nowhere is,
Yeah.
and take them through your childhood and how you became a runner.
Yeah, so I'm from, like, a small town, in Allegheny, New York. It's
Mm,
about an hour and a half south of Buffalo, to just give you perspective. Uh,
okay.
and, just growing up, I think just being around I have 2 older brothers, and just being around them and being around my parents who are extremely athletic and also just raised me, to always be active and always be outside. That definitely, created an athlete in me as a
Hmm.
young child, so, yeah, I mean,
That that's awesome. How old are your brothers?
yeah, so I have 2 older brothers. My one oldest brother, Roman, he is 23, and then my second oldest brother, Gus, is 21 now.
Oh, dude, you guys are like all really close in age,
Yeah,
right? So
and
there's a high so like the one thing that we're missing here is like a probably a highly competitive situation when you guys are going
yeah.
outside and you're playing because that's one of the things now that nowadays and for those young athletes listening, please don't get offended by it, but y'all are soft. Like you guys don't go outside and play. Like you
Not
you
as
you
much as
stay
they used to.
dude. I mean, God, we used to be out running around. Like I'm part of the generation. Angelina's like when the lights went on, the street lights,
Yeah,
that's when I knew I had to be back in my house for
yeah,
dinner. And it's true, but like also to, kids' defenses now, like the world is different. The world is a different place. Like you can't just go and play randomly and ride your bike around because there's so many bad things that happen. So,
right.
but yeah, I mean, I can just imagine, you guys really competing when you guys are outside.
Oh,
Were
yeah.
they runners too?
No, so actually, both my brothers played sports at a D3 level in college.
Mhm.
My oldest brother played football, and then my second oldest brother played basketball.
Nice.
And I was the only runner in the family. My dad, he was always athletic, and so was my mom, but no running really in college or
Mhm.
in high school too much within the family. Just
Now, did your parents were they athletes in high school and college as well, or were they just athletic people?
My parents always did athletics through high school. I think
Nice.
my dad cheered in college as
Oh,
well.
no way. Where
Yes,
at?
Pitt. Yeah,
Pitt? Oh, that's awesome, dude.
yeah,
That's cool. What
yeah.
about your mom?
It is cool. And my mom, she did not do any sports in college, but she was always super active and actually got me into dance as a young
Mm.
child. So I always did dance. I actually did dance all the way up until my senior year of high school.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, and I think that also played a huge role into the way I am also today, just with mobility and overall athleticism.
It's a great point, Angelina. I have noticed and I've talked about this constantly. This is something like a mistake that I made growing up as an athlete, is specializing too soon in pigeonholing an athlete to one specific sport and activity.
Yeah,
Whereas what you're saying is you did dance, you participated in dance all the way up until last year, right? You're a freshman now, correct?
right. Yeah, and
Right. So
I did it through my senior year, so I had to
yeah,
stop once I got to college.
yeah,
Just a
little
lot of
little tough on
commitments,
the
but
schedule. You probably don't
yeah,
have much time even for yourself now. We'll get into
yeah,
that. But, like, to your point, the mobility, right, and the
mhm,
flexibility
yeah.
helps you so much. Those 2 things right there, I would imagine, like, really work together in making you the best runner you could possibly be. What are your
Mhm.
thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I think also going into the steeplechase and hurdles, I mean, you have to have flexibility, you have to be limber when you're doing that, and 100% dance got me where I am there, and also
Mhm.
I dabbled in a little bit of high jump, all the
Okay,
way through
okay.
high school as well, and I can tell you dance 100% helped me, get over that bar and work on my back flexibility as well. So, yeah, it
That's
was
amazing. So in the
definitely
fall you did the cross country,
yeah.
and then you did dance all year, and then in the spring, you did track and field, and you did the high jump there.
Yeah, and I also did indoor
Incredible.
track too, so
Oh,
just kind of
wow.
going all year round with running, yeah,
Okay,
all year round with
fantastic.
dance, so
That's awesome. So for those and it's funny you talk about flexibility.
mhm.
My daughters, I have a 7-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old daughter. They said, "Hey, daddy, will you do scary yoga with us this morning?" And
Oh,
I'm like, "I don't know, guys. I got to take your son. I mean, your son, your brother to baseball practice. I got to coach. I'm ready to go." And my wife goes, "Do yoga with your daughters." And I'm like, "All right, whatever. Wait until you see these videos." She took videos of me, and I am just having a blast with my daughters. And honestly, Angelina, I was hurting,
oh,
and this
yeah.
was like kids yoga, and I'm like, even to the point where we're sitting down and I'm like breathing in and out, I'm like, "Wow, my shoulders are really tight." You can really feel how, like, just much I lack flexibility, so,
Yeah,
um, I was reminding that I today that I am not flexible
yeah, and
at
it
all.
is
I am
interesting too, like Just on the mental side too with dance, it definitely was just a huge stress reliever for me too.
Mm,
Just being able to go into the studio and just be with like in a non-competitive environment, I think definitely helped me mentally as well. Just kind of be able to go to practice, but then later in the night I could just chill and be with, just all my dance friends and my teachers who were the sweetest people ever, and
mm.
just not in a competitive environment. And I always left feeling so much better and so much more confident. So,
That's a great point because people would think that peak performers like yourself, right, that go and play, that run track or cross country and or participate in big Division 1 college sports, that they're always wanting that competitive thing going, and that
right,
is not the case. Like a
right,
lot of times, like 'cause I play baseball at LSU, like a lot of times, like I just want to downshift.
yeah,
Like I just want to mess around. Like
yeah,
if y'all want to play
100%,
cards, cool. Like I don't want to put money on it. I just want to play.
yeah,
So walk explain to everybody because like you mentioned mentally it helped you, right?
right,
And as you know, a large portion of my focus is on the mental performance for athletes because I think it's the most important aspect of their game or their sport is the 5 to 6 inches in between their ears. But walk the audience through how that disconnection from the competition helped you mentally and made you better for running your actual events.
yeah. I think it's all about staying calm, and that's what dance did for me. Just like on the contrary of running, uh, I obviously would always feel so much better after I ran, just get my energy out, but it's just the disconnect of not being competitive and being in an environment where I can just relax and I can just move my body and get the more creative side of my brain going instead of the more competitive, we got to keep going, we got to
Mm,
keep pushing through and hanging on, for the last rep of a workout or something like that. Um, so, I mean, when it comes to competition, I think that helps me because, like I said, just being able to stay calm within the race and saying like you can still keep going, you still got it, and everything like that. So it's just a good reset for your brain,
I love it.
honestly.
I love it. This might be a hard question to answer, but you seem like a very well put together athlete, student athlete, very intelligent. What did you learn about yourself while you were dancing? Because you talked about the creative side of your brain. What did you learn about Angelina that maybe you didn't know going into your senior year?
Yeah, that definitely is a tough question because, you know,
We go deep here, Angelina. We go
yeah,
really deep. Yeah.
yeah, uh, because when you're dancing, you're obviously just what I honestly learned was just to be in the moment. And I know that's like not a lot about me, but it's actually something I just took away from dance that has helped
Mm,
me through um running and just through life in general is to be in the moment. I remember my dance teachers would say, you can be stressed about homework, you can be stressed about whatever, running, anything you want. But while you're in the studio, you're here for an hour, be in the studio and be with
mm.
the people around you. And I think that's so important just in life, honestly, to, really, really appreciate where you're at and who you're around.
Okay, so that is about you, and I love that answer because you cannot be a peak performer without being present and in the moment,
Right.
right? You have to be so dialed into what's going on now, and if you think about other things in the past or the future, you're not going to do very well in that moment, right? Because
Right.
your heightened sense of awareness goes up, maybe your heart rate goes up, and now we're not running as efficiently. So I really actually love that answer. Be present, be in the moment, be where your feet
Yeah.
are. I love it. All right, cool. So let's get into it, right? Let's get
All
into it.
right.
So the audience wants to know because so pretend that nobody listening to the show right now knows what steeplechase is.
All
Explain
right.
it to them.
All right. So steeplechase is basically like if you know 400-meter hurdles, it's just basically like that, a little bit less hurdles, and you do it for 5 laps around the track. And then also one of the hurdles, you're going straight into a water pit. Uh, Yeah, I mean, it's probably, especially because I do it, I feel like I could say this, it's probably one of the toughest events on the track. Um, because you're already tired and
Mhm.
you gotta hit I th I wanna say I honestly don't even know. I wanna say there's 5 barriers on the track as well. Let me like 1, 2, yeah, I think 5. Um, and, you're already exhausted, your legs are very fatigued, and, you still have to jump over the barriers with good form, and make it to the end of the race. And I have taken a stumble in the water pit before, and it's not fun, but,
Mm,
you know, part of the race is finishing it, so that's also tough. If you ever fall, you just gotta kinda get up and keep going. Yeah, I mean,
that's tough,
it's
yeah.
definitely a tough race, but it's fun, and it's always a good time, so
That's awesome.
yeah.
It's funny because you mentioned about the water pit. I think I saw a video on your Instagram where you, like, jumped over the whole damn water pit.
Oh, yeah. I honestly I do sometimes jump over the pit. I have pretty long legs, so I'm
Holy
fortunate
shit. I
enough
was
to
like
do that.
I was
Yeah.
like, "What's going on? Like, how the hell is she doing this? Like,
Yeah.
that's not even an obstacle for her. She just leapt over that son of a bitch." It's
Yeah.
really cool. It's really
No, and
cool.
and actually, like, you do wanna keep, like, a little bit of your foot in the water just to,
Mhm.
kind of break the fall, but, I
Mm.
mean, sometimes you get going so fast that you're right over it, so got a lot of
That's
adrenaline going.
nuts. That's nuts. So,
Yeah.
had a great career in high school, great senior year,
Yeah.
and did you break some records for steeplechase, right?
Yeah, so I broke the New York state record and the national record, which I think, like, the national record's probably the big one that
Oh, you
people would
think?
know. Yeah. Yeah, so I actually broke that my junior year, and then I rebroke it again my senior year.
So you
And
broke your own record.
yes, well, actually, I was going back and forth. We had a lot of girls from New York that were very talented in steeplechase, and I mean, it made it such. It honestly made it so known, because I was actually another girl broke my record from junior year who graduated with me as well.
Oh, wow.
And then we were kind of going back and forth, and I ended up breaking it at the end of my senior year. So
How
I
exciting is
still
that?
hold it, but it
That's
was
exciting.
yeah, it was exciting.
So what was the record before you broke it your junior year, and what was it when you got the record back?
Yeah, so my junior year, I believe it was a 6:24, and I actually think I just went right under that. My junior year, I was probably 6:23.
Wait,
Um,
stop, hold on. 5 laps with hurdles in 6 minutes and 23 seconds?
yeah.
Dude, I can drive a car that fast. Like, that's insane. Keep going, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
That's impressive.
Yeah. It was tough though, don't get me wrong.
Jesus.
Um, yeah, and then my senior year, I went 6:18 to break the record. So
Good God.
yes, it was tough, but we got it done. So
What kind of physical training goes into something like that?
yeah, so I definitely think it's difficult because you want to hit the miles, but also I'm a mid distance runner. I also focus on the 800, which is just 2 laps around
Mm,
the track. Um, so, I'm definitely focused on that. But I also have to cater towards, mileage with even cross country
mhm.
mixed in there too. So, I was hitting probably about 55 miles a week around there. And then, obviously I'm pretty strong into lifting. Like it's really important to me. And I would be lifting about 3 times a week, just some pretty heavy lifts in there. And honestly, also, I think it's so important just going again with like the flexibility and mobility. I would try to, slide a yoga in there at least
Mhm.
once a week just to make sure I'm, limber and my back's not getting too messed up or anything
Yeah.
like that.
This is amazing. This is what I really enjoy about conversations like this, Angelina, is the fact that at such a young age, you were so active and you knew the type of processes to put in place to make you as successful as possible
Right.
in all your performances. Where did you learn that from?
Yeah. I mean, just kind of going back to my family and, obviously my brothers were always athletes through high school and I definitely looked up to them. they were always lifting and in the gym, and, just watching them do that, I think definitely kind of sparked something in me. And throughout 2020, actually, when we were in lockdown, I got really into lifting, and it was it was very important to me, and I honestly kind of revolved my training more around lifting than probably running.
Mhm.
And I had to tone that down a little bit because, I'm definitely a runner. I'm not a power lifter.
Right,
So,
right.
honestly, just like doing your research. I looked up videos. I would sit in the gym if I wanted to learn something, and I would just look up the YouTube video. Now, everything's kind of out there for you. If you want to learn
Yeah.
how to do a power clean, you can look it up on YouTube and someone's going to teach you, and you just kind of work through the mechanics. And I think, I look back on videos that I took of myself trying to weightlift, and I was like, why my form's horrendous in that, like it's so bad, but you kind of
Right.
just like learn through yourself. And you learn through other people too, watching other people in the gym, watching my brothers lift, getting advice from them, honestly just taking anything I could get, grabbing at anything.
Mm.
That's how I kind of wrote that training. And, then my junior year, I had a recipe already, and my senior year, I followed that same recipe and it worked again. So,
So why change it,
yeah, why
right? Like,
change it?
but see, that's the thing, like, to have a process like that, Angelina, is not normal for high
Yeah.
school athletes. Like, I know a lot of really good baseball players that don't even know what the back of their hand looks like as far as the schedule goes. Like, they can't do it, right?
Yeah.
So, let me ask you a question, because and we'll get to a lot of the mental stuff too, but how is being so regimented and strategic in your process and planning, how did that help you going into NC State? Because quite literally, you don't own your time once you get to a Division I school.
Right.
So
Right.
walk us through that.
100%.
How did it prepare you?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely I think time management is key. I would be lifting in between, especially during COVID, I had a lot more free time just with online
Mhm.
classes. I would literally be sitting on an online class and sometimes be lifting while I'm listening to my
Of
class.
course. Yes, of
Um,
course.
yeah, that's normal. No,
Hey, she's multitasking. She's
yeah,
a peak performer, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah,
Doesn't mean she's perfect, just means she's peak
yeah,
performer.
yeah, yeah. Um, but when once we got back into school, my junior senior year, um, you know, on my if I had a study hall, I obviously I got to get my work done. Of course, that's
Mhm.
important. But I made time for that, and I think during the day I would, sign out, go lift, come back to school, go to practice, and then after I had my night to I would go to dance either at night or, sit down, do some work. And I mean, honestly, high school wasn't as strenuous as colleges. College is a
Mhm.
lot different. Just dealing with the studies and everything like that. It's definitely something I'm still getting used to. I've only been here for a little under a semester, so
Mhm.
it's definitely still something I'm working with. But definitely time management is so key in this whole process. Being able to know honestly just plan out your day. I'm gonna lift between this time, I'm gonna run between this time, and I have this much time to do my studying. And what to-do lists are my friend. I mean, I make a ton of to-do lists, and this
Love
is
it.
what I need to do. um and I make sure to get it done, honestly.
You know,
So
it's super important because, I work with a lot of athletes. I have a group of athletes that I work with every Sunday evening. You should come tonight if you want.
all
It's
right.
really cool. We get together and we have a Zoom and we just go through stuff. It's amazing. And then I also coach these athletes one on one, different athletes, not specifically them. But one of the things that I do immediately is go through time management and
Mhm.
organization, right?
Yeah.
Because if we can't budget our time correctly, we can't get better.
Mhm.
So it was funny. I was talking to one of my athletes. He plays baseball in the SEC over at Missouri, and we had a one-on-one session 2 weeks ago, and we had another one this weekend. But the one prior, I said, "Hey, listen, man, let's really get down Monday through Friday where you're going to be every second of the day." And we broke down his schedule from 6 a.m. wake all the way to 9:45 p.m. Like, he knows when he can go get his his prep work done if he has 11 to 12 break, or if he gets out a little early, he knows he can eat from 11 to 12, go down to the baseball field, get his prep work in, get 20 minutes of early hitting in, and then hit with the team and then ready to roll. Like, that is so important, right? And the fact that you were able to break down your day, whether it's post-it notes, to-do lists, it
Mhm.
doesn't matter. Whatever works for you. How are you keeping track of these things? Do you have a calendar, or do you just write it down in a binder?
Yeah, I have a good old-fashioned planner. That's what I
Love
use.
it. You do
Yeah.
pen to paper too?
Yeah. Yes,
Right
I
here.
have it right here.
Pen to paper.
Got
Let
it
me
right
see that
here.
bad boy. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like that right there. Like, to me, electronic calendars freak me out
No, oh my gosh,
because
I cannot do electronic. No, I
no,
need to
because
see it.
I get notifications on this stupid
Yeah.
phone. Why does this thing get a fucking vote? Like,
I know,
I hate
I
that thing. It's like,
know.
why does it get a vote? Like, why does it get a vote? So, like, I'll get like a boom, you have something in 15 minutes. I'm like, yeah, yeah, whatever. I
Yeah,
j-
right.
I missed when I first started doing my show, like I would almost miss podcasts because this thing, this electronic calendar that my wife told me I had to use sucked. So,
Yeah.
like, I went back to
Mhm.
old, like, paper, pen or pencil to paper.
Yeah.
Blow it up. I know where I'm gonna be every single time. Like,
Oh,
boom,
yeah.
right there.
Mhm.
Um, so okay, so you know, 2023 Gatorade Player of the Year. Let's talk about that accomplishment because, yeah, obviously, I'm sorry, and ladies and gentlemen, National Track and Field Player of the Year for girls. Like that's ridiculous. Like, right? So
Yeah.
walk us through that year and some of the and let's also talk about some of the things that are not so great, right? Let's talk about maybe some of the pressures, the anxieties.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because I would imagine to think that you're just not going through, the season like, cool, whatever happens,
Yeah.
happens. Fuck it. If I win, I
No,
win.
definitely
Fuck. Who
not,
gives a
definitely
shit?
not.
Like, there's some anxieties, right?
Yes.
So let's walk through some of those anxieties and then educate the audience on how you overcame them.
Yeah, so, I mean, honestly, starting with the fall of my senior year, uh, I definitely think actually, take it back to my junior year.
Okay.
Honestly, my fall, winter, spring, uh, getting into my junior year, I was actually dealing with a little bit of an iron deficiency, which is very common in runners, especially
Mhm.
female runners. But it took me out for a little bit. I was struggling with that for a while.
Very tired.
Yes, very. I was not finishing races. I
Shit, my wife don't run and she has an iron deficiency. So I can see what it does
yeah,
to her. So I can't even imagine for a
yeah.
peak performer like yourself,
Mhm.
having to deal with that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it was
Continue.
no, you're all good. It was all just, it was a lot for me to uh deal with, and I got through it though. And you know, my junior year was honestly just on the up and up. There wasn't a lot of pressure because I was kind of coming
Mhm.
out of nowhere. It's not like my sophomore year or my freshman year I was on the scene at all. I was really under wraps. Not a lot of people really knew who I was at all. Maybe throughout, our local races, but it wasn't
Mhm.
anything national or even statewide at all.
Mhm.
I didn't truly make states in running until my junior year, for track. So that was all on the up, and I told my parents after my junior year of, track states after I won. I doubled and I won the 800 and the steeple at states, and I told them, I was like, I mean, I don't know how I'm supposed to do that again next year. I was like, there's no way. I don't know how I'm physically going to be able to redo everything I did last year. It's impossible. I mean,
Mm.
there's so much pressure on that. So that definitely was stressful, but I tried not to think about it until it, came around the next year. So fall of my senior year, I was, preparing all summer, getting ready, getting in shape, and it worked out. I went to states for cross country, and I was definitely stressed. Trying to repeat that title is not an easy thing
Mhm.
to do. Um, but I did it, and the goal, honestly, for that year was to make nationals in cross country. And once I got that goal done, I was really satisfied with that season. So, and I knew going into my track season, my indoor, my outdoor seasons, those are my tough seasons. Those are the ones I had to be honed in on. There was a lot of pressure there, and I actually fell into a little bit of a rut my indoor season. I wasn't PRing at all. I was working my ass off and I wasn't seeing the results of it. And it's really frustrating for me, going out every day, and especially in New York, the weather's not good and I'm out in 10-degree weather trying to get a workout done on the track that's covered in ice, slipping
Mhm.
all over the place, even getting on the treadmill. It's just honestly maxing out our treadmills on the in the school because they're not high tech ones. It's not like they're going as
Mhm.
fast as I need them to go on my workouts for track, especially. Um, so it's frustrating when you're going through that and you're not seeing the results, and I felt like I wasn't. What was I doing wrong? Was I not working hard enough? Um, and actually, I went and I was so nervous for states, indoor states. I was running the 1000, and
Mm.
I ended up winning just by honestly barely. I barely won, and I remember walking off the track shaking my head. It was an awful race for me. I felt like crap. I was just not even there, and I was so distraught because I knew my toughest season hadn't even begun. Um,
Mm.
so I was really frustrated. But I ended up, figuring everything out. And I had actually slipped kind of back into an iron deficiency, and that's why I was just training for honestly nothing. Um, my body wasn't keeping up with what I what I was doing.
Mhm.
So that was definitely frustrating, and I'd say that's definitely a downfall of this is, I'm working with it's myself and my parents. I mean, I don't have a lot of not honestly, nobody in high school has a lot of help. It's you're
Mhm.
just kind of seeing what you can do and hoping that it works out. And sometimes it doesn't. And, it's not like I mean, here I have all the doctors, all the help I could ever have, and ever want and need. So it's
Mhm.
very nice. But in high school, it's just not like that.
Right.
So moving on to my spring season, uh, the pressure was honestly kind of through the roof for me. I was expected, break the national record again, and do it better. I had run 206 in the 800 my junior year, and I was trying to break that again. And I'm coming off a season that I wasn't super confident in. So I kind of just put my head down and just kept working. And it was tough. I lost a few races, but I just got up. And honestly, the first big race I won was Penn Relays. uh, I won the mile, and it's not even like I won it in a PR or anything. Uh, that race was all mental, and it was all
Mm.
about who was going to finish the last 400 meters as hard as they could, and who wanted it the most. And
Walk us through that. Walk us through that because there's some good shit here.
yeah,
Like that wasn't even one of your big, like
yeah,
you said, this wasn't like so walk us through the last 400 meters.
yeah. So during that race, we kind of took it out slow, and I felt good. I was just hanging on the shoulder of
Mhm.
one of the other athletes, and we got 800 meters in, and I was like, I'm just gonna go. There's no value in me sitting here, and everybody. We haven't expanded this group out at all. Everybody was still in the race. Everybody had still had, uh, you know, uh, they could still win it. Um,
Mhm.
And so I kind of started pushing the pace, and that last 400 meters, I actually got passed up right going into the 200, and I kind of when you're in when you're in pain and you're working hard,
Mhm.
your brain kind of turns off, and you're like, oh, she's gonna beat me. I just
Mhm.
don't have it in me today. It's so easy to give up when the going gets tough. It's so
Mhm.
easy to do that, and honestly, I just ran a race the other day, and I did that. It was tough, and my legs weren't feeling it, and I couldn't move them any faster, and it was frustrating, but it happens.
Right.
But in that particular moment, I said that and I was like, "Oh, she's gonna beat me." And I just turned it off. And I said, "No, she's not. She's not gonna beat me." I feel good. Why am I letting myself get defeated when there's 200 meters left in the race and she's 2 feet in front of me? I already lost the race by telling myself that she won it already. She
Mm.
didn't. Um, because I switched my mindset, and I kind of just put the pedal to the metal, and I just started sprinting the last 200 meters, and I thought to myself, whoever goes with me is going with me, and if they don't, I got this one in the bag. So that's honestly that's what happened that last honestly 200 meters. Um and that was kind of the step forward into um just on the up of my season.
Right.
You definitely, when you're going through that hard, especially in indoor, I don't think I won maybe 2 or 3 races. At all the big races. I raced one big event called like Milrose Games. And
Mhm.
I nearly got dead last, and it was pretty crushing because uh actually there were professional athletes there competing in the
Mm.
same meet. So it's like you want to perform well, you want to do good, and you nearly get dead last, and it's like that's embarrassing for me. Um it's not even at my expectations. It's so below my expectations that I was just crushed. So to come out with the win at Penn Relays really boosted my confidence, and it is important to have those wins. There's definitely
Mhm.
downs, but you have to have ups, uh, or else those downs just keep going down, and you need to be able to build yourself up. And I'm not saying you have to win a race to build yourself up, but you have to have little wins, whether that's you have a good rep in your workout, or um, you have a good run. Anything, you need to have little wins, and you need to be able to be building yourself up, even if you think you're on a downward spiral. Um, yeah,
I love that. I mean, listen, because like, and I want everybody listening to close their eyes and think about this. Imagine that time where you're just sucking wind and you're tired, whether you're a runner, baseball player, football player, basketball player, or you're an entrepreneur, whatever the hell it is, I don't know. And you're sitting there and you're like, when is it my time? When am I going to win? I don't have it in me. I'm done. That person's just gonna win. And then you tell yourself this decision that you make in your mindset. It's a, like she said, Angelina said it was a shift in her mindset. She goes, no, she's not. I'm done with this shit. I'm going. They can keep up with me if they want, but I'm gonna smoke this chick. She had half a lap left. So all of you sitting there thinking that you're losing, you may have a half a lap ahead of you, but and there's someone sitting right in front of you that you're chasing. It doesn't mean you're done.
mhm,
It doesn't mean you're done. It means right now, ladies and gentlemen, you have a choice to make. You could either say, you know what, I'm going to submit to these weak ass thoughts and I'm going to get beat, or I'm going to push through them. I'm going to get uncomfortable and I'm going to go because 200 meters away, that's your springboard to an amazing, triumphant spring season, right? Like,
100%. And I mean, it's like I said, it's truly like the whether it is a big win or it's a little win. You have to you have to have little wins, or you have to have wins to keep yourself going. It's 100% you do. So it's all about the mindset and how you're looking at the process. You have to enjoy the process, but you have to also enjoy the game.
I'm
Um,
I'm chuckling because this is what this whole thing's about. Like you're hitting on all these amazing points that a lot of athletes are just letting it go by them. They don't understand that the most important thing that they have is loving the process
yeah,
and trusting in it. Like the real reward, if you think about this too, like you probably perform so much better when you think of, okay, the gift and the reward is the actual work.
yeah,
The results just come,
right,
right? The reward is the weight room. The reward is those days on the cold ass track when it's icy and you're trying not to slip.
yeah,
That's where champions are made,
Mhm,
not in competition time,
mhm.
not at all,
No.
right?
No, and in fact, I once you're at competition, it's too late for that. Um, you have to trust the process, you have to trust your training. And to trust your training, you have to put in the work. You're not gonna be able to trust your training if you're not putting in the work. If you're giving up halfway through, if, yeah, honestly, if you're giving up, that's and not only do you have to trust the process, but um, you have to enjoy the game too, and you have
Mhm.
to be there for when the going gets tough because especially in running, and this happens in all sports too, you get tired, you get exhausted, and it's so easy for like self-defeat and for your brain to say, "Oh, this is so hard.
Mhm.
I'm just not going to be able to finish." Um but that's where to me that's actually where champions are made if you can push past that and
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Hell yeah. Let me ask you a question because like there's that moment, right, where you're going through some like really bad shit.
Oh
Like
yeah.
when you're not feeling well in that season, you could easily just say, I'm done. This is just not going to be good. A lot of people try to leave that place of adversity too soon, where I think that it's very important that if you're feeling a certain way, if you're feeling down, your body doesn't feel good, and maybe you just feel like you're just garbage at that point,
Yeah.
lean into those feelings.
I was gonna say you definitely have to break that down too.
Yeah.
Um, like why are you feeling like that? What I like to do, if you change nothing, nothing changes. If my foot's bothering me, then I need to start doing some mobility. Um, and if I'm slacking off on that, then that's probably why my ankle or my foot's gonna hurt me. You need to change something in your day to day because I think a lot of people get injured and then they're not changing anything to prevent that again. That's why I implement, this is physical, merely physical. But that's why I implement yoga into my weekly cycle of training because it is important to do, preventative measures to do that. And, also we've all gone through injuries and stuff like that. And that's me changing something so that I don't get hurt. And a lot
Dude,
of people don't
that's
like to
amazing. The
yeah.
Angelina, you're different. You're special. I mean, the preventative. Before you said preventative, I was thinking she's taking preventative measures so she doesn't get hurt. She's proactive.
Yeah.
For those of you out there, peak performance or peak performers, they are proactive. They do not sit around and wait to get injured before they handle this shit.
Right.
They take care of it right then and there. And the one thing that I love about your story is it's not perfect, right? Like none of it was perfect. And I think a lot of times young athletes, and then even when I was an athlete, and sometimes it bleeds over into my professional career in the show. If I hear something on a recording, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't like how I said that. I beat myself up. I'm like, well, now this is a bad show. It was a bad show. I wasn't my best. And that's not true.
No.
That's bullshit. That's a lie, right? The reality is peak performance doesn't mean perfect performance.
No.
It
Yeah, and honestly, just, like, learning I mean, it's so, like, just cliche, honestly, but it's
Mhm.
so true. Um, you learn something from all your mistakes and all the downfalls, and you also learn things from all your ups. I was actually just talking to my dad about this today. Uh, just, like, you can't linger on your downs, but you also can't linger on
Mhm.
your ups. Uh, so you just have to have a fair game and, you know, just really try to work through it, so
Love it. I love it. We're getting close to the end of the show, and I wanna cover one more topic, okay? Because I
yeah.
think it's really cool. Like, being that athlete that accomplished so much your junior year and your senior year, you won the National Gatorade Player of the Year for track and field for girls, and then you get invited to the fucking ESPYs. Like,
Yes.
dude, you're sitting there at the you're sitting there looking, you're at the ESPYs, man.
Yeah.
Walk everybody through that experience. That is like the if you're an athlete,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
dude, that's the pinnacle. Like, you're at the Oscars, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're at the Country Music Awards. You're like, holy shit, I'm on the red carpet.
Mhm.
I'm getting my black dress on. I'm ready to roll.
Yeah.
So walk us through that. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, I mean, just, like, the whole trip, out to LA with Gatorade was just insane. They treated us like rock stars, honestly. Like
Mhm.
we we were just I mean, they it takes my breath away because it was just like, we show up
I
there
can
and
see you lighting up. It's
yeah,
like
I
you're
mean,
still
it's
so
crazy.
excited about it. It's
It's like
amazing.
we were really treated like, I mean, we're just in high school and I mean, it felt like we were being treated like we were like professionals. And so then to go to the ESPYs and to see professional athletes and to see, athletes that I mean, they have what you want, that what you're craving
Mhm.
for just for a career. So, it's super cool to see, you know, Damar Hamlin walking right
I was
by
just gonna
me
ask
or,
you, dude, and,
Patrick
dude, not
Mahomes,
too far after his cardiac arrest on the
yeah.
field, that how cool is that? You think I bet you he was pretty damn happy to be there too.
Yeah, and also, just coming from, like, "Go Bills,"
Yeah,
I
I
gotta
know.
yeah,
What a moment.
yeah,
What a
so,
moment. God
um,
almighty.
yeah, it was it's cool, it's just they're living the life that everybody wants, and it's just
Mhm.
cool to kinda see it. Don't get me wrong, they put in a lot of work to get where they're at, but, that's where everybody that I was with at Gatorade, that's where they wanna be. And it was just really interesting to, see everybody and see all the awards, getting, handed out, because that's where we wanna be, so
That's
it
cool.
was cool.
Couple more questions for you.
Yeah.
One pertains to being there in that moment, maybe after the photo shoot on the red carpet, after all the photos with, Damar Hamlin, you're sitting there in the room, right? Was there ever a moment where you just sat there and you just smiled and you got those goosebumps all over your body and you said, you know what? God dang it, girl, good job. Like
Yeah.
you created this. Like, walk us through that because being proud of oneself I think is very easy when you're at the pinnacle, but I also believe that not enough athletes are proud of themselves in general,
Yeah.
right? Share
Yeah,
that experience with them.
yeah, I mean, I honestly really do get that. People have asked me, just like, do you realize, you hold a national record or like you got this award? Do you understand that? And I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like, I really don't sit back enough
Mhm.
to like let it just be like, wow, that is what I did because and I agree, it's something I have to work on as well, just like, taking a step back and looking at that. But uh you know, all athletes, especially when you're at a high level, you're surrounded by everyone else doing such great things and especially in the running world and especially being on a team like NC State, they've won now two back-to-back NCAA cross country titles. So everybody here is good. Everybody here
Mhm.
has state titles, awards, whatever. Everybody here has that. So, I don't really dwell on it too much because, you're always like I said, I just I definitely have to I definitely have to look at it a little bit more and say, wow, it is cool because I won't be 18 forever and I'm not gonna
Mhm.
be living in this time of my life forever. So I do have to spend more time reflecting on that. But also, um, I definitely don't look into it too much because there is so much talent um that I'm surrounded with constantly. And
Dude, that's such a great point because too many athletes rest on the shit that they did previously, and then they
yeah,
go to a big Division One program with a storied tradition like NC State cross country with back-to-back national championships. So there's going to be more hardware in your future, right? I mean,
yeah, I
good
hope.
Lord willing, right? Like, let's go, let's win some more
Yeah,
shit. And then
yeah,
also, like, hey, you're not the big fish anymore. Like, you're
no,
just like everybody else is just like you.
yeah,
You literally when you get to a big program like you're at, no matter what sport it is, dude, look to your left, look to your right, look to your left. There's Angelina Napoleons everywhere, everywhere. And
yes,
that's the exciting part, right?
right,
So it's one of those things that we
and
weren't
that
able to get to, but
yeah,
in this show, but I wanted to highlight it really quickly. It's like the work's not done. So let's not be
Right.
seduced by the success here. Let's keep working, right?
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, that's what you want too. I wouldn't want to come to any other program where, you know, I am the big fish because
Hmm.
it's just, that's not what you're looking for in a program. You're looking for,
No.
um, you're looking to be kind of, at the bottom and you got to work your way up. And when you do work your way up, it feels pretty damn good because you're
Oh, hell yeah.
surrounded by a lot of great athletes. So you've worked your way up and
And
you've made
you've
it.
earned it at that point,
Yes.
right? You earned it. So
Yeah.
amazing. Before we land the plane here, and before we, end the show, and I want you to give the audience a word of advice if they're an athlete. What would you tell them means the most in the transition from high school athletics and performance to becoming a collegiate athlete?
Yeah, and I tell myself this advice every day. I'm still learning it too, but you have to be patient. And it's so
Mm.
simple, but it's so true. And you can put it with anything you do in life. You have to be patient. The Nothing's instant. You're not going to show up just like we were talking about. You're not going to show up here and be the best. It's not it's just not going to happen. There's too many people. There's too much going on for you to be the best in everything, and you have to work your way up there. And the only way to work your way up there is to be patient and to trust the process. Um, I mean, yeah, that it's very simple, but I I use it in almost every day. I have to tell myself I get too ambitious and I'm like, why isn't this happening now? I've been doing this for 2 weeks and not even 2 weeks. I've been doing this
You
for
sound like me, dude. You
yeah.
sound like you
I
sound like
mean,
just every other peak performer. It's
yeah.
normal.
Yeah,
You're in good company. Don't worry.
yeah, yeah, even
Yeah.
not even 2 weeks, you're doing something for 2 months and you're like, "Why am I not seeing the result of my
Yeah.
work?"
Hmm.
And to that, I just have to say, just be patient with it, and if you know it works, it's gonna work, and
Yeah.
follow the plan. So,
Love it.
yeah,
That's it right there. That's the mic drop. Don't give in too quickly. No one ever said there was a time limit on it. So, listen, guys, I want to thank you for listening to the show. And Angelina Napoleon, thank you so much for coming on. You have been such an amazing guest and an incredible conversation from an incredible young woman and athlete.
thank
I'm going
you.
to ask you all that are listening right now to share the show out. You know, give us a nice review. Leave a comment for Angelina and wish her well. But, again, just thank you so much, Angelina. And, just hang out while we say goodbye to the audience. But until next time, guys, just be determined, trust the process, and just get after your damn goals and stop listening to the peanut gallery or the little thoughts in your head that say that you can't do the shit. Just go out there and work and get it done. Peace. Southwest Florida is one of the most beautiful places on the planet to live. For those of you that are thinking of moving from other states to come to Florida, or even just moving to a different part of the state, I want you to think of a big, beautiful luxury home. Contact Legacy Luxury Builders. They are a family-owned and operated luxury residential construction company. As a family-owned business, they believe in the power of building not just homes, but legacies. Contact Legacy Luxury Builders. Unlock your true potential on the field and court with our Peak Mental Performance Program for athletes. Train your mind to conquer challenges, stay focused under pressure, and achieve unparalleled success. Our expert coaches will guide you through personalized techniques, enhancing concentration, resilience, and confidence. Picture yourself outperforming your rivals, making split-second decisions with clarity, and achieving victory like never before. Join us today and elevate your game to new heights. Peak Mental Performance Program, where champions are forged in the mind. Email me today, sean.french@thedeterminedsociety.com for more information. See you inside.